Hi, I'm Dr. Fletcher Perry from Examsolutionprovider.com. In this video, I'm going to go over methods of solving quadratic equation as part of revision for GCSE Maths exam for students that I tutor myself. Although the video is targeting my own students, but any other students who are revising for June 2009 GCSE Maths, they can actually benefit from it. Before we start, let's revise how many methods we say we're going to we can use to solve quadratic equations. We mentioned 4 of them. Method number 1 is by factorization. Method number 2 is by completion of square. Method number 3 is by quadratic formula. And method number 4 is by using a graph, so graphing. These are the 4 methods that we had covered when we were going through tutorials. Now, in your exam, read carefully the question you have been given to check whether they have asked you to use a specific method, which is more likely to be one of these 4, or they have just left the question open, which means you have a choice which method you are going to use. Remember to choose the method that you are very confident with and you think you are very unlikely to make mistakes when you are using it. Remember, you are working to look for its marks, so you can't lose marks unnecessarily. Therefore, careful choice of the method is extremely important. Now, in a situation where they have specifically asked you to use a specific method, which is more likely to be one of the 4, make sure you use the method that you have been asked to use. If you use your own method, other than what they have asked you to use, you show that you have not understood the question or understood the instruction, and then you will lose the marks. So you are more likely to lose the marks. So be careful there. So we are going to start with the factorization method of solving quadratic equation. Now, to do that, we're going to use one of the past paper exam question. Now, in this question, all they have to say is solve the equation x squared minus 4x minus 12 is equal to 0. Now, remember, how do we know this is a quadratic equation? Because it has the power of 2. So the power of the 2 is the highest power in this equation. Therefore, it's a quadratic equation. As a quadratic equation is more likely to have 2 solutions. Okay? So let's look how we are going to factorize this equation. Now, when we were covering tutorial, I said look at the last constant that you have, which is minus 12. And you need to find the factors that they multiply together to give you 12. So the first one is 1 times 12 will give you 12. The next one is 2 times 6 will give you 12. And next one is 4 times 3 will give you 12. So these are the factors that when they multiply together will give you 12. Now, what you need to think of is that if you add this, the difference between these two, so 1 and 12, should give you minus 4. So first, ignore the signs here, but look at which one, if I subtract or if I add, is going to give me minus 4, or is going to give me 4. So the difference between 6 and 2 is 4, but the difference between 4 and 3 is 1, and difference between 1 and 12 is 11. Therefore, the factors that we need to use are these. We know that x squared is going to be x bracket, and is also going to multiply by x. So x times x is going to give me x squared. But now what do I need to do? Because 1 is going to be 2, the other one is going to be 4. So it's going to be, 6, and then 6. So I need to see what I'm going to do. I know if I add 2 plus 6, is going to give me 8, but that's not what I'm interested in. What I'm interested in is the difference between the two. But that difference should give me minus 4. Therefore, if I had take 2, if I subtract 6, 2 minus 6 is going to give me 4. So which means 6 is going to be negative, and this is going to be positive. Now, you can see that x times x is going to give me x squared, so I can double check this. And x times minus 6 is going to give me minus 6x. 2 times x is going to give me plus 2x. And 2 times minus 6 is going to give me minus 12. And then this is going to give me, x squared. This is going to give me x squared. Minus 6 plus 2 is going to give me minus 4x. And minus 12 equals 0. Okay? Yeah, which means this is correct. Okay? So I have to double check to make sure it's correct. So I have factorized that equation. So what I know is either x plus 2 equals 0 or x minus 6 equals 0. If we take the first one, I need to subtract 2 from both sides. Okay, so x plus 2 minus 2 equals 0 minus 2. This cancels, so I have x on this side, and that side I'm going to have minus 2. So my first answer is x equals minus 2. The second answer, I need to solve for this one, which is x minus 6 equals 0. Therefore, I need to add 6 to both sides so that I can have x on this side. So x minus 6 plus 6 would give me 0 plus 6. This cancels. Minus 6 plus 6 give me 0. So I have got x on this side, and it's equal to 6. So the answers are x equals minus 2 and x equals minus equals 6. So these are the answers. X equals minus 2 and x equals 6. And this is how we solve quadratic equation using factorization method. I hope this is a good revision and reminds you how actually to solve quadratic equation by factorization method. Thank you.